before that, we do have to do one quick headline, Ben, which is that LeBron James has become a part owner of the Boston Red Sox, otherwise known as Fenway Sports Group, which he's been involved with for a long time. He's been involved with the Liverpool team that FSG owns, and he made it official and has like I think he put like $750 million into the sports group, which is not a small amount of money.
No.
But I want to talk to you about this. You're a baseball guy. Like, what are your thoughts? What did you think when you saw this? Is this less surprising than maybe I, a Red Sox fan, would have initially thought?
No, I think it's pretty surprising in terms of, like, I would have never seen the Red Sox, the team that he becomes part owner of. He's always wearing, Indians hats. Yeah, he's a noted Yankees fan. But in terms of him getting into baseball, when I think LeBron James, I always think baseball. So in that aspect, it makes total sense.
Sorry, that took me a second. I was like, yes, and then I was like, whoa, wait, what? Right. Well, I mean, he said before that he would be a great baseball player, or did he say a great football player?
I think he said football, but knowing him, he one, probably would be, and two, he probably did say he'd be good at baseball as well. Right. But, in all honesty, we're starting to see this more and more. Patrick Mahomes is now part owner of the Royals. LeBron now the Red Sox. I think it's becoming a trend of athletes sort of getting into other sports. Athletes that are at the top of their game. Obviously most can't afford $975 million. But I think it's good. I think it's great for him, and I think it's good for the sport to have somebody like him, one of the greatest of all time, branching out and getting into the baseball space, and it's good advertising all around.
I think so too. I think, as a Red Sox fan, something that I'm particularly, I guess looking at Twitter, and, a few friends of mine made jokes that was like, well, as he's a lifelong Yankees fan, he said, and he was rooting for the Dodgers in the last World Series, and, there might be some sort of budding rivalry there. And they were like, you think he's trying to sink the team? And I was sort of laughing. I was thinking, like, what if Derek Jeter went to the Marlins, like, to sink the Marlins, and then, LeBron goes to the Red Sox to, like, these ownership groups. But I mean, at the end of the day, something that I think every Red Sox fan should take solace in is that LeBron James is one of the greatest of all time at any sport, but I think he'll bring that spirit. But also, like, if the Red Sox make money, LeBron James is going to make money. And yeah. I think that most people, I mean, you're pretty motivated by money, right? Like, dude, like he's not buying the Red Sox. He's not enough of a Yankees fan to buy the Red Sox to take the Red Sox.
Right. He's not really a Yankee. I mean, he was rooting for the Dodgers. He's an Indians fan. Like where is it? But I do think it's important. He's a superstar, and baseball is starting to advertise itself the right way and become more exciting. But for so long, it was such a boring way it was marketed. The best players are marketed so poorly, and to have somebody like him that can come in and promote the game in a very exciting time. I'm all for it, to be honest with you.
Same. And I also think, not to get too serious on a podcast that's supposed to be fun, but I think that it's really important to have Black people in those rooms. And I think that to have LeBron, what did he say about it? He and Maverick Carter became partners in FSG, and LeBron said, I think for me and my partner Maverick to be the first two Black men to be part of that ownership group in the history of that franchise, I think that is pretty damn cool. And, obviously, like, racism is a huge issue in every city, but as someone who's from Boston, I do know that Boston has had a pretty poor track record, from the street being called Yawkey Way, and, Tom Yawkey had a pretty bad history with discrimination. And then, you have the slurs that fans said to Adam Jones. I mean, it's just like, I was impressed with how the Red Sox sort of handled the racial reckoning last summer. I thought they put out good statements. I thought that they really did seem to be dedicated to change. And I think now having LeBron in that room, like, that's going to be huge. You need representation among people who make these important decisions. And so I'm very hopeful that will make a big difference in that franchise.
Yep, 100%. It's really nice to see that in a city like Boston that has notably had some issues, and it's just nice to start to see more and more diversity come around in baseball, with Kim Ng down in Florida, the first female GM. I mean, just some cool stuff happening, and this is another example of that.
Hey pals, thanks for watching the People Sports Podcast YouTube channel. For more of mine and Mark's very weird rabbit holes, stick around, watch more. You can subscribe, smash that subscribe button. You know you want to. We're going to give you all the weird stuff we possibly can.